What's up, guys? So this is that time of year that I dread every year, and that's doing my taxes. You know, I have fun all year. I do what I want. I spend things, I buy things, making money, and then when it's tax time, I feel like a kid who got sent to the principal's office, and I'm sitting there waiting to see what my punishment's gonna be. Because I don't deal with my accountant all year. I just deal with him basically whenever I'm gonna buy a big purchase or something. I'll say, hey, is this gonna help me? And I usually do that at the end of the year, or sometimes I'll ask him a random question that, like my wife wants to know about something in our home life, and so I'll call him and he'll answer me, and that'll be great. That's about the only interaction I ever have with him until it's tax time. I have had a CPA do my taxes since 2015 because up until that point, I was doing them myself. I remember I talked about on my last video, there was a year where I just kind of worked and made all the money and basically took all the money home that year. That was 2014. And I did my taxes myself for that year. And that was the biggest mistake I've ever made. I ended up owing the IRS like $15,000 that year. Oh, horrible. And I couldn't understand why. Everybody I talked to was like, dude, you should be dealing with a CPA. You shouldn't be doing these taxes on your own. Because up to that point, I was doing them by myself and always getting a return. And everything was fine. But that year, man, I just made too much. And then I said to myself, from here on out, I'm hiring somebody to do these things right for me. And I've been happy ever since. So ever since 2015, I've never had a big tax bill. In fact, I don't think I ever actually owed the IRS after that year because they just know how to file taxes and do it the right way. So this season, I thought I was going to be in trouble because I bought this other company's client list and it was a lot of money. And so for some reason, I thought that was going to like hurt me or something. But anyway, my accountant said that because I made that purchase, basically it's making it look like my company had a loss. Even though I bought another company about the same size as mine, in the financial eyes, it looks like we took a loss because we just paid out for that and we got no return during that time, So anyway, but that didn't help me. It didn't hinder me. Bottom line is everything went good. Nothing bad happened with my taxes. I ended up getting money back, if you can believe that. I think I'm getting $4,000 back for federal and $2,000 back for state. Oh, that is awesome. I've gotten about that much back in like 2016 or 2017, and it's a great feeling, when I get that call and I go, so how's it looking? Am I gonna owe? Like that's the worst time in my business life cycle every year, is getting that phone call. But then when he says, no, you don't owe anything, it's like the best feeling. So now I have like 12 months to feel good about this. And anyway, so I don't owe any taxes and I'm actually getting money back. So I'm feeling really good right now. So on another note, when you're mowing 100 lawns a day, 4 days a week, sprinklers are gonna break. Sometimes it's only one, sometimes it's two. And there are days where we don't break any, but for the most part, we pretty much break one sprinkler a day somewhere. And so what I'm doing is I'm gonna put these little flags on all the trucks so that this is where, when there's a broken sprinkler from the mow guys, they're to put one of those where the broken sprinkler is, So when I send a tech out to fix it right away, they'll know where it is instead of having to look for it. So that's something I'm going to tell everybody this morning. You know what? I should give it to the garden crew too, because sometimes when they're working in the shrub beds with the hedge trimmer, they'll break, they'll cut the main garden hose line. And sometimes we have to turn the water on so we could find it. And usually the customer calls and lets us know about that. So that one's really bad. But it is what it is. I mean, we've got 6 to 7 garden guys all working gardens every day. I mean, something's going to happen there too. You know what I mean? I've talked to the guys with the mowing. It's, it is what it is. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, if a sprinkler is in the middle of the lawn and it breaks from a lawnmower, it was a malfunction sprinkler. That's the way I look at it. Obviously, there are times I tell the customer that, but there are times where I also just say, okay, you know what, it's our fault. Because sprinklers are designed to pop up when the water comes out and then pop back down when there's no pressure. But sometimes the sprinkler will just stay up, and that's when they'll get broken. There are also other times where we're edging with the steel blade edger, and we'll break sprinklers that way. Now that's totally, the tech's fault for sure. But the ones in the lawn, I kind of get frustrated when a customer's like demanding and really upset that we broke a sprinkler. I mean, they're not designed to stay up after they turn off. So if they do, you needed a new sprinkler anyway. That's kind of the way I look at it. Another thing that breaks them sometimes are power rakers and aerators. But honestly, those don't happen very often, And when those do break, usually it's just like a nozzle. It's not actually the sprinkler that's broke. It's usually just the top part, the nozzle, where the water comes out. So anyway, yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. It's not an issue at all. I've even gone out and fixed a sprinkler last week or 2 weeks ago. Not a big deal at all. So it's just annoying that sometimes it'll happen like all the way across, border of our service area, and nobody's by there. So I've got to send somebody all the way up there to fix it. Sometimes we'll talk to the customer and ask, is it okay if I send somebody there tomorrow, or is it critical where the break is that we send somebody there right now? A lot of times they're really cool. They're like, yeah, there's no rush. It's okay. It's in the backyard. Don't even worry about it. Just next time you're in the area. But at that point, we send it the next day. And if somebody's close by, I'll definitely have them go fix that right then and there. Anyway, things that, I didn't think about I was going to have to worry about while I was trying to grow this thing. But if you really think about it, 100 lawns a day, there might be a broken sprinkler somewhere, So nothing that's like stressing me out or anything. It's just something that we've now have to kind of be more mindful about. So I've got this storage unit that I'm making my warehouse for sprinklers. So the idea was to stock this up and this be where the techs, come and get all the parts that they'll need. And that does work. They'll stop here every once in a while. Yesterday, the actual sprinkler supply stores, he went to 2 sprinkler stores and they didn't have these T-couplers for funny pipe. So that was kind of cool. That he's like, hey, do you know if in the warehouse we've got the T-couplers? And he sent me a picture, and I came and checked, and I said, yeah, we do. So that was kind of cool. Because he's like, dude, I went to 2 places, and they don't have it, and I need that. So now that we have a manager, a lot of times he'll look at the problem, and he'll put in the notes what parts we're going to need. as long as the estimates are fully noted with great detail, we should just stock this up and come here before they go to their first job every day and get what they need. That way we're not like stocking up the sprinkler vehicles, because that could be expensive, and I hate seeing a vehicle full of parts, like $6,000 worth of parts, and then at the end of the season it'd still be pretty stocked with things that we haven't used all year, where that money could have gone towards parts that are useful and common. I also have a bunch of tools that are for sprinklers that I'm gonna bring in here too. By far, sprinklers is the division that has the most complaints. Now, you know, when you're running a business, stress is everywhere, so you try to minimize stress. So kind of logic tells me maybe we shouldn't be doing sprinklers. Now, we're not getting so many complaints that like every customer, it's pretty much once a day. The next day somebody will call and say they're upset with the work that was done before. Like, it's so annoying, but I've got Dan, the new sprinkler manager, training the techs, because the goal in the sprinkler department is to be professional, 100%. So I feel like we're gonna get there, because me, Dan, and the main guys, you know, Justin, Jose, all understand that that's the vision, is go to a job, you know what, give them the right price so that we can get the job completely done, not just putting band-aids on things. That's kind of the level we're trying to take this thing. A lot of those complaints that come in the next day, it's because the customer didn't want to spend a lot of money, and so we gave them a cheaper option, and next thing you know, they had way higher expectations, and now they're upset. So I keep telling the guys, you know, if you see something that needs to be repaired, tell them that you can't even look at the system until that is fixed. You know, that kind of approach, so that the system is completely done. And at that point, if customers are complaining because they paid too much, but there's no like problems in the system, I can live with that. You know, I can totally be fine with that. You know what? Because it's hard to find a tech that knows what they're doing, and I've hired a trainer to train the guys to take it just a little step higher quality than they've been doing. Now, some of the guys I have are really good, and they've even taught they've even taught Dan a couple things here and there. I mean, Dan even admits he doesn't know everything, but there's a lot of things that he does do right, and we just need to get that implemented with all the services. The problem is with sprinklers, there's so many different type of repairs that it's hard to go over everything in a short amount of time. It's kind of like you got to keep doing it every year over and over again, and eventually you'll do 90% of the type of repairs. So anyway, yeah, sprinklers has been this has been the year for me and sprinklers, man. And for the most part, we're doing good. It's kind of one of those things. I'm totally investing in this division. There are days where we're making great profit margin, great revenue, and then there are other days where it's like, am I even able to pay the guys that are working? But I know it's a long process. It's a long game here with the sprinklers, and I'm doing the best I can. I really do see a vision of this place being like 10 techs, all professional, all year-round workers, and customers knowing that when they call Lawn Thumbs, they are really calling the best sprinkler company in the area. That's my vision.